Hi everyone, today I'm going to talk about the Mayan signs and the 4 directions as I promised in my previous video. So the 4 directions is sacred according to the Mayan tradition, and you can see it in the Mayan tree of life or the horoscope, which is you can find on my website. Every sign, every combination there's a like a cross, like a tree of life on the standard report. On the detailed report you will have 9 signs in total. You will have the sub-directions as well, but on a standard report you will have what we call the male sign and the female sign and the male sign, your left hand energy and your right hand energy, and your youth sign is behind you, and your mature sign is in front of you. The youth sign can also be called the past sign or the supporting sign, and your future sign can be your guide or your future sign as well. And these are also the 4 directions. In front of you is your future, which is the eastern direction where the sun is rising, and behind you is the west, and on your right hand is the south, and on your left hand is the north. So, and even you can make a meditation like this. You can close your eyes and imagine you're the tree of life, and you can connect with these 4 energies in your tree of life. Like you can look at your chart and see what sign is on your youth on the top of the chart, and what is in front of you, your future, your mature sign, which is in front of you, and what's on your right side, the male sign, and on the left side, the female sign. And you can make a connection. You can one by one go to each direction and resonate, try to feel the energy of these signs, and you can actually communicate with these energies. Like according to the Mayans, these are deities, gods or goddesses. So you can talk to them, you can ask them for you to support you in a better way, or guide you, or like male and female signs as well, like they're assisting your life in male field and the female field. Like you can read about what they mean in my website. I will not go into it very much detail, but this is one of the ways that the 4 directions work in the Mayan astrology. Another way is that there's, remember, 20 signs, and each of the signs belong to a direction. So there are 4 groups for these 20 signs, and there's a connection between them as well. Like if you are a southern sign, you have a very good connection with all the other southern signs. So all the other 5 signs, other 4 signs that are in your group, you can have a beautiful relationship, you can have a beautiful friendship. It's very supportive. And on the second hand, this direction that is opposing it, which is if you're a southern sign, the northern sign also is a very good way that can help you with your evolution. You can create good teamwork together, for example. But the other ones, if you're a south, you're belonging to the south and north universe. The west and the east universe is another universe. So with the people from these signs, you will have not so much things in common. Maybe you will have conflicts. But I will tell you in a minute that there's a representative from each of the directions that actually work the opposite way. They are your best allies, but only one out of these 5 signs. All the rest are creating some kind of polarity, and that can be actually very good for relationships as well, for romantic relationships, because people from the other signs, you can have a very attractive relationship, attractive connection and polarity, and especially the people from the sign from one day before you or one day after you. For example, if I'm a seed sign, one day after me is a serpent, one day before me is the knight. I can have a strong polarity with these people women from these signs. But all the others, like the southern signs or the northern signs, I can have a good connection. And all the rest, you can actually, I will explain them. You can go to the description or the comments or the explanation of this video, and you can find more information about all these signs and the directions, and how do they connect with each other, what do they provide to each other, and also what are the main qualities of these directions. So this is what to say about mostly for these directions and the signs. Another question that's coming up a lot for me is like, how did you come into contact with the Mayan astrology? How did you find about all these things? And it began actually in 2004. Back in 2004, in the beginning of it, which is like 15 years ago, I was traveling in India, and I've been to a spiritual festival, and I met a European author talking about the Mayan calendar. Actually, he was talking mostly about the prophecies and what's going to happen in 2012. His end date was different, 2011. His name is Carl Johan Kaleman. So I was very much impressed by his theory and his research. I started reading his books. I got in touch with him, and we become good friends, and we exchange a lot of information. And I was even giving presentations explaining about his view about the end of the Mayan calendar. But when the date was coming close to his end date, actually I was feeling that the prophecies was not really coming out. So slowly I started questioning more, is it really true? And in the end, I think it was not so accurate about his interpretation of the end date. But other than that, all his other theories, like the 9 levels of evolution and the 7 days and 6 nights of progressing of evolution, all that you can find in his books. I think they're pretty much still interesting, and we can look into that. But we had this split with him. It was about 2010, 2011. I stopped supporting his ideas. But he also introduced me to the science. It was 2006 when he came to visit me in Turkey, and he was giving some seminars and doing private sessions. So he started talking about this science, and he actually was talking about a book that was the best book in that time. It's still a very good book called Jaguar Wisdom, written by Kenneth Johnson. And after that, I got the book, and then I've been to Guatemala. I met Elizabeth Araujo, and she also helped me to understand. She's the wife of Don Alejandro, by the way, the leader of the Mayan community. So she helped me to understand a little bit more. And then I read other resources, and I used my intuition. And after some years, I started giving private readings as well. And then which led me to create this website, mymayansign.com. And meanwhile, I also started connecting with Kenneth Johnson. We exchanged a lot of emails, and I asked my questions. And he's been a great friend for me, a great mentor for me as well. And he wrote another book called Mayan Calendar Astrology, which is also an amazing book. I highly recommend these 2 books, Jaguar Wisdom and Mayan Calendar Astrology by Kenneth Johnson. So another thing during this time was that I discovered about this breakthrough days, or the burner dates that come up every 65 days based on your Mayan Tzolkin birthday. And I had back in 2009 or 2010, I was living in an island in Thailand, and I was in a yogic community, and somehow these interesting parties started, and which we were completely pure, like everybody was yogis, like no drinking, nothing, just pure energy. And I had a lot of enthusiasm into DJing music. So I just picked it up, and I started doing my playlist, and I had really amazing nights. Like, we had a very beautiful connection with the people, and one of the nights was really like a peak of my amateur DJ career, you know, like it was, everybody had so much fun. And that day was one of my burner days, that it was coinciding with my breakthrough day, and it was really a breakthrough for me. Like I couldn't believe what happened, you know, like all of my small dreams about music and offering music to people came true, and that was an unbelievable night. Like, I always remember that breakthrough day with that. So these kind of things, of course, not just this, many other events like coincide with my day sign or my Tzolkin birthday or my Trekana. Somehow everything started making so much sense that in my website I always emphasize on these things, that we need to follow the Mayan calendar. It's not just a stable picture. It's very good to follow these days and pay our attention what's happening to us on our day of the sign that we were born, or more stronger days like breakthrough days. There are many different days. If you have a report from my site, you will see that you have a custom calendar, and they are being also emailed to you, and you can just read these texts in the morning and have a different perception, consciousness about that day. So that's all about Mayan astrology and my story in a very short way. After this day, after this video, I decided to go into other directions. I know you want to hear more about the Mayan astrology and the Mayan signs, but There are so many other things I want to share, so I will keep it like this and start talking about other subjects. Of course, if the demand is high, I will come back to it and answer some questions. But there are so many other things that I'm exploring in the last 5-10 years. I would like to share with them that can be very helpful for your evolution, for your health, for your day-to-day life. So until next time, take care, and I love you.